So what I thought we'd do today is do a little bit more enrichment, this time with our Turkey Vulture Kramer, which we talked about a little bit last week. But it seemed like everyone really liked watching Melvin do that little puzzle feeder. And so today I've got this little board. It's an old exam board that I kind of cut off, made it into kind of a weird cornhole type thing. And then we've got 3 little containers on there. The 2 of them with red tops have food in them, and then the one with that white top is empty. And so we're going to kind of see if Kramer can kind of figure out which ones have food in them, which ones don't. And so let's see if he can figure this out. Doesn't look like he's too interested in doing much of anything right now. So let's see if I can entice him over here with maybe a little piece of food at the base. Kramer, come on. There we go. He's got one out of that bottom one. Let's see. He's got to do a little bit more work and climb up this little board if he wants to get that out of the middle one. So let's see if he'll climb up this board a little bit and get some of the food out of that middle one for us. So I had to entice him to get up there a little bit by putting a piece of food not in that little cup. Let's see if I put one back in that cup. Now he'll walk up. Let's see if he'll allow me to take this cup. And we're going to put it back in the board for him. Now, one of the things we didn't really talk much about last week is one of the defenses of vultures is they will actually vomit up all that food that they've eaten if they get scared or frightened. And I've smelled it before. I'm sure several other bird keepers have smelled it before, and it is not the most pleasant thing in the world. So it does work as a really good defense mechanism, because you think about all that food, it's already been rotting on the ground, outside, wherever it might be for days. And then lots of times it goes into their stomach for days. Sometimes they can vomit up food that's been in their stomach for several hours. And so it's a pretty good defense mechanism. But also lots of times if they're eating so much on the side of the road, whether it's, a dead deer or whatever, and then something comes by and kind of spooks them and they've got to get away, they may be weighted down too much to where they actually can't fly, because they've got so much weight, they've got so much food in them that they haven't digested yet. So they may have to kind of rid themselves of some of that food so that they can kind of get light enough where they can actually fly away from whatever is trying to come after them. So let's see if I can kind of get him back up here by showing him this piece of food. So again, it's in that middle one, so he's got to kind of work his way up the board a little bit. This is only about his, so really only the first time that he's done it with this piece of AstroTurf on there. And so he's still got to get used to it a little bit, figure out, kind of the best method upwards. Looks like he's going to take the side route this time and get that piece of food out of that center one. Our hope is that maybe one day he can kind of figure out, based on his sense of smell, where that food is. Like we said last week, his sense of smell is incredible. So even though our food really doesn't smell really bad because it's not rotten or anything, it's fresh, we're hoping that maybe he can kind of figure out where the food is based on his sense of smell. And so potentially over the next few months we may add in more and more little openings and cups in this board to give him a little bit more of a challenge. But for now, we thought that, kind of 4 holes. One of them we don't even have a cup to put in it, though. So really, we only have 3 cups. Is a really good enrichment for him. Basically, he's got to figure out which 2 out of the 3 have food in them. And to make it easy on him, so far we've only put the food in those bottom 2 openings to kind of make it a little bit easier. He doesn't have to walk all the way up the entire little platform to get his food out of those containers. So I just reloaded it now, and I've actually got a food piece in that very top one, so the one with the white lid. And so we'll see if he can't figure out how to go up there, get all the way to the top, and get his piece of food without coming over to attack me. And so let's see. Maybe if I get out of the system a little bit. So there we go. He kind of took the easy route that time. He kind of jumped on it at the top side instead of kind of walking his way all the way up. But that's the good thing about enrichment is they can kind of figure out how they want to get to that food themselves. There is no right or wrong way. It's just kind of whatever way they want to choose, whether they want to walk up the entire board or whether they want to kind of fly to the top of the board from the ground and figure out how to get the food from there. And so that's kind of the great thing about enrichment is it kind of gets their mind thinking, and they're able to do really whatever they want to do during the time that this enrichment's out here. So he can kind of explore. We'll leave it out here for a little bit, let him kind of explore. He might jump on it again, so let's see. There he goes. He's going to jump up on it again. He's going to explore. He might search through those cups again, see if there's any magical food that has appeared again in the meantime. You can see again that silver coloration all the way down the entire underside of his wing. So again, turkey vultures have that silver coloration all the way down the entire underside of their wing. I know we've gotten some questions before about that bell. What does that bell mean on him? When we fly our birds free, so when they're not attached to anything, we will put a bell on them. We also always have a tracking device on them so we can find them if they fly off, if they go somewhere they're not supposed to. But that bell helps us find them in the woods a lot easier. Those owls, the hawks, they're all very camouflaged. They blend in with the trees really well. And so to put that bell on them, we can hear them when they move around. And so even though we may know what area they're in, we may know they're in that area, but we may not be able to see them. And so by putting that bell on them, we can hear them if they move their legs. And so anytime we're flying birds free, they've got a bell on. And even though we're not flying him free right now, we just never took his bell off because there really wasn't too much of a reason to take that bell off. So he's still wearing that bell. So that's why you hear that jingling every time he's walking around. It's just that bell that helps us locate him if he chooses to go the wrong spot.